Well, good afternoon. Today is Thursday, June 25th, and just wanting to give you another market update. It's been a little bit, but with all the statistics that we're hearing on the news with COVID and with the rents up in Seattle and all those kinds of things, I think it's important to present the market stats, at least for here in Thurston County. So here goes. Let me share my screen. Okay, so looking here, this is active listings. And again, this is just listings here in Thurston County, residential listings here in Thurston County. So as of today, 6/25, there's only 276 active listings on the market compared to 569 listings last year at the end of June. You can see here the oranges, these are all the previous months of 2020. Blue is all the previous months of 2019. So you can see that the amount of listings is going down. Now, in and of itself, when you look at that, it is looks to be a seller's market because there's just not much inventory. But keep in mind, with only 276 listings, that's great if 500 people are looking for homes, but if only 100 people are looking for homes, not so great. So again, with all statistics, you can't just look at one number. There's various numbers that you should be looking at in order to come up with your conclusion. But in any case, 276 active listings on the market compared to 569 last year. When we look at pendings, again, 460 currently as of today, 6/25 for the month, compared to 676 for the entire month of last year, June of last year. So again, by the end of the month, we might get up to 500 pendings in the next week. But again, you can see significantly lower than the amount of pendings last year. And again, I think it's probably because there's not as much inventory. I think there's still a lot of people out there looking, just not as much inventory, which results in less listing or less pendings. But again, just my opinion. When we look at the number of sold, so far in the month of June, 312 have sold versus 553 as of last year. And again, I think it's because of the just the number of available listings that's out there. And you can see for the entire month or the entire year of 2020, we're pretty consistent, right around that 300 mark. Especially over the last 2 months, we've been pretty consistent, right up above the 300 range. When we look at sold and average prices, so here are sold. So here is June. And when we look at the average, it's the first time, at least since January of 2019, probably even before that. I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but it's the first time in at least 18 months that we've been over $400,000 as the average price, average sold price in Thurston County. So I think that's a significant number. And looking at it based on June of last year, you can see significant jump based off of last month of this year, quite a significant jump. And again, that's the average. When we look at median price, 374 currently month to date versus 344 last year. So again, significant 10% increase in median price year over year. And you can see the jump a little bit less than 10,000 from month to month. So again, you can see that prices continue to rise, all pushing towards, again, a good market if you're a seller. Looking at inventory. So inventory, again, as a reminder, we take the number of active listings and we divide it either by the number of pendings on this chart or the number of solds on this chart. So we can see here, based on pending sales, 18 days of inventory versus 25 from last year. And again, 18 days, this means that if no new inventory came on the market and we continue to go at the same rate of pendings that we've been at, 18 days, all of the inventory would be gone and there'd be no inventory. And again, we like to see as a balanced market anywhere between 120 to 180 days of inventory. So we're far off from that, well below what is considered a balanced market. Now, if we had 300 days of inventory, that would mean that it would be a buyer's market because we'd have way more inventory than we do have buyers. But in here, it's the opposite, where we have not as much inventory compared to the demand brought on by buyers. When we look at solds, 27 days of solds versus 31 of last year. So a little bit more than the pendings. And this is because pendings are always going to be, there's going to be more number of pendings because there's various stages of pendings, and they all count as a pending sale. But also there's going to be a lot of sales that go pending that end up not actually closing. So they'll go through an inspection and decide that buyer will decide that it's not the right house for them or whatever reason, and so it'll go pending, but then it'll go back to sold. And so that's one of the reasons why there's going to be more pendings, resulting in less number of days of available pending versus the sale amount. So hopefully that helps out. So again, kind of take this however you want to interpret it. My interpretation of this is it's still a seller's market, strictly based on not as much inventory, or just a low amount of inventory, kind of summarized in this slide here. So again, great if you're a seller. Great time to sell. If you're a buyer, probably not the best time to sell. I mean, as far as pricing is concerned, but will the price go down? Who knows? And if you if you have reasons to buy a home, like I mean, you have to buy a home, absolutely have to buy a home, or if you're ready to take that next step, you have to factor all those things to determine if in fact it is a good time for you to buy. You can't just base it solely on these statistics. And with that, if you're going to be using statistics like these to make a very important decision, I would question the statistics. Statistics you can present statistics any way that you want in order to push any kind of agenda that you want. And so again, if you're going to be basing your decision on statistics like this, I would question where it came from, question what it means, so that you can get a really good idea of what story statistics are telling you. An example, when we're hearing all of this statistics about COVID on the news, and it's saying that whatever X amount of people have died from COVID, and we look at that and we think, well, yeah, that's a pretty high number, but I question that statistic, and I'm always kind of thinking, okay, so if people are dying of COVID, is it because they had COVID that they're dying, or did they just have COVID when they died? So if they have COVID and they get into an accident and they're killed, for instance, is that being considered being dying of COVID? Again, I don't know. I don't know what that answer is, but again, I just want to question the statistics on where it came from and what those statistics mean, again, if I'm going to be making decisions based on that statistic. So I would recommend you do the same. Again, if you have any questions about this, or you want to know where it comes from, what it's telling you, any kind of questions, please put something down in the comments. Be glad to answer any questions and let you know where I got it from, and be glad to help any way I can. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope everybody's staying safe, and we'll talk to you soon.